Dylan Wang's mother opens up, the heartfelt confession that changed everything. If you're moved by stories of love, resilience, and the unspoken strength of family, please subscribe now to hear more stories that touch the heart. From the very first moment the cameras turned to her face, there was a softness in her eyes, a quiet yet powerful invitation to listen. Her voice trembled only slightly, betraying how much weight she carried, yet each word landed with clarity and purpose, as if polished by years of reflection and longing. In her soft-spoken tone, she began to unveil the confession that had remained unspoken for so long, the confession that reshaped not only her life but the life of her beloved son, Dylan. She spoke of the years before fame, when Dylan was just her little boy, full of energy, full of promise, unaware of the whirlwind that one day would rush into his life. She spoke of early mornings and late nights, waking him gently for school, packing lunchboxes, helping with homework, small, everyday moments imbued with love. She remembered his laughter bouncing through the house, his dreams sketched on bits of paper, his eyes shining with imagination. Yet beneath the sweetness, there was a burden she carried alone, a fear, a shame, hidden behind a composed smile. As she spoke, she revealed something deeply personal, that throughout Dylan's childhood, she had struggled with her own identity and sense of worth. She confessed that in those tender years, she had felt like she did not deserve to be his mother. That confessing this truth was not easy, but it was necessary. The confession itself was not dramatic, not newsworthy in the sensational sense. Instead, it was profoundly human, a mother's admission of her own insecurities, and how those insecurities nearly robbed her of the joy of fully loving her son. It was in those seconds, words tumbling softly, that she admitted she'd long believed she was inadequate, an imperfect mother compared to the ideals she absorbed from magazines, social media, the world. She believed that Dylan might have been better off with someone stronger, more capable, more enough in the world's eyes. That confession, weighty, tear-laced, cracked open her composure. And yet, in that vulnerability, something beautiful happened. She found freedom. She found love made deeper, richer, not despite her imperfections but because of them. The voiceover continues as though we're floating inside her memory. She described the moment when Dylan, still quite small, asked her, "Mama, will you always be with me?" She recounted looking into his trusting eyes, and at that juncture, every fear, every doubt evaporated. In his question, she found the courage to confront her own demons. She whispered to him then, and only in her heart, that she would be with him, always. But she added in her quiet admission, she knew she needed, more than ever, to be there for herself too, to heal the parts that felt broken. That was the turning point, she said, where internal healing began. She sought therapy, read books about parenting, self-worth, resilience, and unconditional love. She found support groups, confided in friends, journaled her fears. Slowly, imperfection transformed from source of shame into source of strength. She learned that parenting is not about being flawless but about being present, being real. She realized Dylan didn't need perfection, he needed honesty, warmth, presence, and love that admitted where it was weak, and still chose to stay. And in the process of healing, she also healed her relationship with the world. She began engaging wholeheartedly in community, volunteering at local schools, baking treats for neighbors, telling her story to other mothers who might feel alone in their struggles. She recounted how just one small gesture, bringing cookies to her son's classroom, opened conversation with another mother who revealed she too felt like she was failing. In that moment, she realized she was not failing at all, but connecting, healing, uplifting. Back to Dylan, she said that as he grew into a youth and then a young man, she watched him chase his dreams fearlessly, with confidence she at first thought unearned. But now she knew that his confidence was partly forged in that crucible of her self-discovery. He learned not to fear being enough, because his mother had learned it first. When he stumbled, she encouraged, when he soared, she celebrated. She admitted now, those early years of insecurity made her more empathetic, more attentive, more grateful for each milestone he achieved. Her voice cracked when she described the first time Dylan thanked her publicly, perhaps in an acceptance speech or in an interview, crediting her for teaching him resilience and strength. In that moment, her heart swelled, tears streamed, and she realized that the confession she once feared to make had instead shaped a bond of trust between them stronger than she could have imagined. Her story then expanded, a confession carrying ripples. She told how other families had reached out after hearing her words, mothers confessing similar fears, fathers admitting silent uncertainties, young people feeling unmoored in the shadow of parents they believed to be infallible. In her confession, they found permission to be human, to admit doubts, to ask for help, to love themselves imperfectly. She related a letter from a mother in a small town who wrote, "Your story gave me courage to say I'm struggling to my son, and he held me and said he loves me no matter what." Such letters, she shared, were prayers answered. As she softened into that, she invited the listener to feel the universality of her message, that love is not measured by perfection but by presence, vulnerability, and perseverance. That every parent, every child, every person carries hidden confessions, fear, shame, inadequacy, but there is power in speaking them softly, honestly, without apology. And that confession, though it feels heavy, can transform darkness into connection, isolation into empathy, fear into healing. She thanked her own mother, Dylan's grandmother, who always told her, "You belong, you are enough." Those words, she said, were seeds planted long ago and remade when she needed to hear them again. She reflected that love flows across generations, sometimes varied, sometimes visible, but always capable of renewal. Through her confession, she felt she was passing that love forward, writing a new chapter where imperfection is embraced, courage is tender, and connection is everything. And now, the heart of the voiceover, the emotional confession that changed everything. "I was afraid I wasn't good enough," she whispered, voice barely audible. And then, brighter, "But every time you looked at me, Dylan, I felt like I was enough just because you existed. I promise to carry that truth, imperfect though I am, and to pass it on, to you and to every other soul brave enough to listen." Those words, unguarded, raw, filled the room not just with vulnerability but with love, a love deepened by awareness of weakness, transformed by acceptance. As the voiceover drifts onward, it becomes reflection. She pondered how she might have lost herself, her confidence, her light, if she never admitted what she carried. Instead, she found strength in confession, found community in honesty, found healing in being seen. She repeated softly, "To be seen is to be healed." Then the narrative gently widens, inviting the listener into self-reflection. Think of the unspoken truth you carry. Fear you've hidden, shame you've cloaked, love you've withheld. Can you whisper it softly, confess it quietly? Will that confession change you? Will it free you? She believed yes, it would, as it changed her. In closing, the voice returns tenderly to Dylan, her son, her anchor, her unwitting teacher. "Thank you," she spoke, voice quivering with gratitude, "for believing in me when I could not. For being exactly who you are, my love, my joy, my mirror showing me I am enough." And then, as the voice lifts, she added, "May this confession not just change me, but continue to echo, for mothers, for children, for all of us learning to love fully, imperfectly." So if you're not already following, now's the time. Subscribe. Stay tuned.